After the move e4, black's most common response, e5, has been played over 1.6 billion times in just the lead chess database. I'm sure if you check chess.com, it's even more than that, which means if you're going to play e4, you have to know what to do against e5. This video is for anyone under 1400, so beginners or intermediate players. I'm going to teach you a very simple yet powerful opening called the Scotch Gambit that you can play against e5. This video is going to be the first part in a series where I teach you what you can play against any response to e4, whether that's e5 or d5 or c5 or c6 or e6 or anything that black's going to play. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the future parts to this series. But having said that, let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to show you exactly how to get into a great position in a simple and easy way. All right, so after we play e4, black plays e5, I'm going to recommend the move knight to f3, which is creating a threat and fighting for control of the center, okay? And the nice thing about this move is that black doesn't have a lot of options, because if they play some random move, you're just gonna take their pawn, right? You're threatening to take their pawn. So most players are gonna play 1, 2, or 3. Now, 2 of these moves are not very good. One of them is the best move, okay? So knight c6 is the best way to defend because they're developing a piece. We're gonna come back to that in just a second. But first, I wanna talk about these pawn moves really quickly. So against d6, the problem for black is they've blocked their bishop, which means they're guaranteeing themselves to be in a passive position. They're going to have a tough time developing their pieces. And the simplest and easiest thing for you to do is just throw your pawn forward. If they take you, you just take back. And it's very easy for you to develop your pieces to good squares. You're going to have no problem and get into a nice position, okay? Now, if they play f6, this is already a big mistake on move 2. I would like you to pause and see if you can identify what is the main problem with this move for black. All right, well, hopefully you figured it out, and if not, no worries. But the main problem is that they've exposed this diagonal right here to their king. And if you look carefully, we actually have a queen, which can very quickly go there and attack their king, except our knight is in the way. So if you put all those pieces together, the best move for us in this position is knight takes e5, sacrificing our knight. It's actually a brilliant move according to chess.com. And the idea is that after they take us, we're going to bring the queen out with check, and black is already in really big trouble. They only have 2 legal moves. There's only 2 ways to get out of this check. You either have to move your king or you have to block with the pawn. They are both bad for black. If they block with the pawn, we simply take here with a fork. A fork in chess is when one piece attacks 2 pieces at the same time. We're attacking the king, we're attacking the rook. They have to get out of the check. Let's just say they go here. We simply grab their rook, and we're in a totally winning position already. Let's back up a couple of moves. Instead of blocking with the pawn, if they move their king up, we simply take the pawn anyway with check. The king's only move is to go to f7. We can keep attacking it. Look at our bishop ready to go. We attack it with the bishop. And again, black only has 2 options. They can either block with their pawn and lose another pawn, or they can try to run. This actually leads to a forced checkmate. It's a long one, but all you have to really remember is queen f5 check, force the king over here. We're going to use our bishop to attack them, but first we like to set it up with h4 so that if they block, we can capture. So for example, they play some random move. Now we push our pawn forward. We take it with the unleashing the rook, and then we have a simple checkmate on f7. And by the way, I'm going to give you all of these lines in the description. You can copy paste it right into chess.com or Lichess and look at all these lines later. So don't worry about remembering everything. Just try to understand what we're doing, okay? So the point of all of that, let's just go back and remind you, is that if they play f6 to defend this pawn, you know you're already in a really nice position. Just sacrifice your knight, follow it up with the queen check, and you're basically winning the game already, okay? All right, so when we play knight f3, the best move, and if they've played chess at all or studied any openings whatsoever, they're going to know this. Knight c6 is what you're probably going to see most of the time. And now I'm going to recommend that we play the move d4. And this is called the Scotch game, but we're not playing the regular Scotch game. We're setting up to go into the Scotch Gambit, okay? And you're going to see why in just a second. Pretty much everybody is going to take this pawn. It's really the only thing that makes sense. And the reason is because if they don't take us, we're going to be pushing forward, for example. We're going to be pushing forward, chasing this knight away, and then getting a pawn for free. That's a very big threat, and it's not easy for them to stop unless they take you, which is why most people, when they see this, are going to go ahead and take you with their pawn. Okay, that's exactly what we want. And now we can go into the Scotch Gambit, which is the move bishop c4. So a gambit is when you give up a pawn intentionally in the opening to get quick development and get into an aggressive position. All right, that's what we're doing. We're not taking this pawn back. We're giving them the option if they want to defend it, hence why it's called the Scotch Gambit, okay? Now, when we go here, black has two main moves, bishop to c5 and knight to f6. This is what most people are going to play. Why? Because they want to get their pieces developed. They want to try to fight for the center if they have any idea of what chess is about, right? And they want to get castled. So you're most likely going to see bishop c5 and knight to f6. I want to briefly touch on bishop to b4 check because some lower rated players like to play checks when they have the opportunity. I want to make sure you're prepared. So let's actually start with that one because this is an easy one. We're going to simply play c3. They're going to take us because we're attacking their bishop, right? And instead of taking back, we're going to castle. And this probably looks a little weird, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. Even though we're giving up a bunch of our pawns, it's really not so bad. We're going to recapture. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against 7. So we've only given up 2 pawns. But what do we have in return? Well, we have these bishops lined up on black's king side. Our king is super safe behind this wall of pawns. We have 3 pieces developed, and castling is kind of a developing move. And black is still trying to figure out how do they get their king to safety. And there's all kinds of traps that they can fall into. And it's a very dangerous position for black. So let me give you an example. The most common move here, knight to f6. We are going to push our pawn forward, chasing the knight around. Most people are going to be like, okay, let me try to find a place to move it to. e4, and they've already blundered. If you would like to pause, what do you think a good move is for white? All right, so this brings me to a very important point. When you play the Scotch Gambit, there are going to be lots of tricky positions that show up, just like this. And working on your tactics, the ability to see sacrifices and ways to attack things is going to be very important. And in a lot of cases, this bishop is a key part of that. Okay, so I want you to just really pay attention. You're going to see this as we go through the rest of this video. This bishop is going to play a key role in a lot of different ways. And it's no different in this position. Now, the best move in this position is actually the move a3. And the reason we're doing this is we want to chase the bishop back to a5 and then go with our really powerful move, okay? And you're going to see why in just a second. So let's play a3. Most people are going to go back, and now we can go with the really powerful move queen to d5. And I am going to explain why we wanted to chase the bishop back first, but that comes a little bit later, okay? So just bear with me. It's going to be worth it. So we play queen d5. We're attacking the knight, and we're threatening checkmate. Notice how we're using that bishop to support our queen here. Okay, so of course black has to deal with the checkmate, right? So most people are like, okay, I have to save my knight, I have to stop the checkmate. What's the only thing to do? Let me go over here. Move the knight, defend the checkmate, right? The problem with that, hopefully you can see, is we just take that. And then they can take us back. And it's not checkmate anymore because their king can run away, but we have a really powerful move here. This one might be a little tricky to see, but we're going to play the move e6. And what we're doing here is unleashing this bishop, threatening to come down. Once we take that pawn, then we can come here and get a fork. So that's a very dangerous move. And the reason we wanted their bishop over here from earlier, and this is a little bit complicated, so don't worry if this is over your head. It's not required. I'm just giving you some bonus stuff. But the reason we wanted their bishop over here is because when they play knight e5, we want to be able to go e7 check, and we don't want to have to worry about this bishop coming back. Right? That's why. Okay, that's it. And the reason is because now when they take with the queen, we can simply trade, and then our bishop takes their knight for free. And if you count, we have 1, 2, 3 pieces. They only have 2, and their king is in trouble. We can at some point attack it later with our rooks, and we have a great position going into the middle game. Okay? So I know that was a lot. Here's what you have to remember. If they put you in check, you just block, you castle, sacrificing another pawn, and be on the lookout for opportunities to play queen d5, to play e5 and chase their knight away. And this is a very common one. Just remember, throw in that a3 move. It's a little bit more powerful if you do. Now, if you forget about that and play queen d5 right away, no problem at all. It's still very good for you, but it's a little bit better if you actually play a3 first. Okay? All right, let's keep going with the next thing that you need to know, all right? So let's just recap. We play e4, we attack the pawn, they defend, we play d4, they take us, we go into the Scotch Gambit, and we already talked about what to do if they put us in check. Okay, so forget about that. We know it's going to be fine. Let's talk now about the main move that they could play, bishop to c5. And the reason a lot of people will play this is because they want to develop the bishop anyway, and they notice that now they've defended their pawn 2 times, which means we can't take it because we only have 2 attackers. We don't have enough, right? That's totally fine. We don't even really care. We don't even really care. What we're going to do now is play the move c3. This is called the Haxo Gambit, and this is very, very dangerous for black, okay? So most people are going to take you, and the reason is if they don't take you and they do anything else, well, then you will just take it back, and you get a nice little attack on the bishop at the same time, and most people are not going to let you do that, right? So they're going to take you. You can expect that. Now, remember what I said earlier about this bishop and about tactics related to that. So this is a great opportunity for you to pause and try to find a really powerful move here for us. Okay, hopefully you noticed bishop takes f7. And what we're doing, very common theme here, we're sacrificing the bishop temporarily to set up the follow-up fork. This is another move, queen to d5. We saw it in the other line. We're seeing it again here. This queen to d5 move is one you want to keep in your mind as well because it happens a lot. But now we have a nice little fork again, and we simply can take back and then just take the pawn. And you might say, wait a second, Nelson, there's 3 pieces, the pawns are equal. It's just an even position, right? No, this is not an equal position, and it's primarily because black's king cannot castle. When you are playing in these e4, e5 openings, if you can ever get a situation where they cannot castle, but you can, long term, that's going to be really good for you. Because my king is going to be totally safe behind this wall of pawns, tucked away in the corner. It's going to be hard for black to get to it. And black's king is going to be stuck in the center. And the main reason why this is really bad is because the rook is stuck behind the king. So not only is the king weak, but one of their big pieces is not going to be into the game. As an example, let's say they move here, we castle. Notice the difference between our kings. My king tucked away nice and safe, and I can use this rook wherever I want to, impact the game. Black can't do that. This rook is stuck. Even if they move the knight, it's still stuck because of the king, right? And they're going to have to waste a lot of time, like spending 2 moves to fix that when we're going to be attacking them, okay? And so at this point, you're in the middle game. You have a great position. I have a free middle game guide, which is 10 ideas and plans for the middle game. It's absolutely free. I'm going to put a link in the description or in a comment. You can download that if you want some extra advice for the middle game. But yeah, this is just a great position, okay? So let's go back. All right, so we talked about bishop c5. You're going to play the Haxo Gambit. Most of the time, people are going to fall for this little trap. You can sacrifice the bishop, and you're good to go there with queen d5. Now let's talk about the last move, knight to f6, which some people will play. Instead of developing the bishop, they develop the knight and attack your pawn on e4. Now, this is a really, really important moment because a lot of people here will kind of panic and say, I've got to defend my pawn. And they'll do something related to that, right? Like knight to d2 or queen to e2 or bishop to d3 or, something. I want you to remember, if you can castle and black is not able to castle quickly because they still have a piece in the way, usually it's okay to give up your e-pawn. Usually it's okay. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're just going to castle. And if black wants to take the pawn, which most people do, we're fine. We're happy with that because now we can play rook to e1 and cause black all kinds of problems because the knight is pinned. So they would like to be able to save their knight. They can't because it's pinned. So the only option that they have left is to defend it. Now, what do you think black is most likely going to play in this position? Well, the most obvious move is d5, right? Because they're going to use one of their pawns. They wanted to move this one anyway to get their bishop out. So they use it. It attacks their bishop and it defends their knight. Looks pretty good for black, right? We have an amazing tactic here. This is, if you've never seen this before, it's going to blow your mind. But the tactic is, wait for it, bishop takes d5. Why would we do that? This is actually a sacrifice that is setting up a follow-up tactic, next move, okay? So we got rid of the defender. Now we're threatening to take the knight again. So of course, black is forced to take us. And now we have another amazing move. And this one, when I first saw it, the first time I saw this line, I was like, no, you got to be kidding me. Knight to c3. Now let's talk about what we're doing. First of all, aren't we just giving up our knight for the pawn? What's going on? No, there is a pin on the queen and we simply take their queen for free. So this pawn cannot take us. That's the first thing. What about the knight? Can that just take us? Nope. It's an illegal move because the king is there. They would be putting themselves in check. So actually, even though it looks weird, our knight cannot be captured. Okay, so if our knight can't be captured, what's happening? Well, we're attacking their queen, and we're attacking the knight, which means we're going to get our piece back. We sacrificed one bishop, but we're going to get a knight next move. Why? Because they have to move their queen somewhere, sorry, and then we take the knight. Okay, now most people will go to f5, and you're simply going to take back, and now you have a really nice aggressive position. Look at their king. They have to be extremely careful. As an example, if they play some random move, they've already lost. If you want to pause, what's the best way to play this? All right, so you have two powerful moves. You could go knight to d6 check and win their queen because it's a double check with the rook. Or an even better way is to go knight f6, double check, and then the rook comes down, checkmate. Look at this. This is a beautiful checkmate. The game is over. It is move 11. Game is over, right? This is beautiful. So that's just an example of how dangerous the position is for black. They have to deal with this somehow by blocking with like bishop e7. And then the game goes on, but you have a really nice position. It's very easy for you to develop your pieces. You can take back the pawn if you want. You can do whatever you want. It's a great position, and I highly recommend you play this. Don't forget the middle game guide. If you want like ideas for the middle game, you can check that out as well. All right, guys, so we've got one line to look at here to finish this off. So let's go back to the beginning. So we attack the pawn. They defend the pawn. We play d4. They take us, and we go into the Scotch Gambit. Now, we're talking about this knight f6 move. And I just said it's okay to let them take it. We can castle, right? And if they take it, you know what to do. We play rook e1. We sacrifice our bishop in that for that fancy move, and we play knight c3, right? Now, some people, for whatever reason, don't want to take it. They're afraid of the rook coming over, and they're like, yeah, I don't think so. They just play bishop c5. If they do that, I want to give you an option here. What I recommend you do, once you are castled, if this knight is still sitting on f6 and hasn't taken you, I recommend you push it forward and start causing them problems because they have to move their knight somewhere, okay? So most people, when they see this, are going to move their knight to either here or here. These are the two most common moves that we're going to cover, okay? So let's take a look one at a time. If they go knight g4, they have two pieces attacking us here. We're going to play bishop f4 to defend it. And then after they castle, we're going to play h3. And what we have done, if you will notice, this knight has nowhere to go except here on h6. This is really good for us because once it goes to h6, guess what? We now can trade, and look what we've done to their king. Totally exposed. It's open. These pawns are very weak. We can easily attack those in the future, and black's king is going to have a problem. Okay, so this is what I recommend you play against that. Let's go back. So when we attack it, if they play knight g4, we're just going to develop, play h3, and then trade it off to open up their king. Okay, the other thing they can do is play knight to e4, and I want you to look carefully at this knight. Where can it move to? No, because our pawn. No, because our bishop and knight. No, because our pawn. No, because our rook. No. The knight actually has nowhere to go. So we need to think, can we take advantage of that somehow? And the best way to do it is queen to e2, just attacking it. We already talked about how it can't move, which means if it can't move, the only thing black could do would be to try to defend it with their pawn. But now we have the special move, right? What's the special move with pawns in chess? En passant. When a pawn moves two spaces and it lands side by side, you can take it as if it only moved one, en passant. And guess what? They've just lost their defender of the knight, and they have the same problem again. They can try to bring out the bishop to defend, but we don't really care. We just attack it again. Because remember, it's pinned. It can't go anywhere. We've got two pieces attacking it, and black is basically out of options. They don't really have a way to defend it, and you're going into a winning endgame. Okay? So, guys, let's just recap everything that we talked about really quickly, because this is important. If you play e4, you need a response against e5, and I'm recommending the Scotch Gambit. Knight to f3, we talked about if they defend with one of the pawns. Most people are going to play knight c6. You go into a Scotch game. Then you play bishop c4, Scotch Gambit. Most people are going to play bishop c5 or knight f6. If they put you in check, we talked about how you can just sacrifice some more pawns, castle quickly, and get into a nice position. And then remember, the final thing I want to remind you, always think about the bishop. It's either sacrificing itself here or maybe the queen coming up, some combination of those tactics. Extremely common in the Scotch Gambit. These lines are in the description for you. You can copy and paste these directly into the analysis board on chess.com or Lichess. And this is going to be a series. So we've talked about e4, e5. Next time, we're going to talk about a different response to e4. So leave in the comments which one you'd like to see next. Maybe you want to see d5, maybe you want to see c5 or c6 or e6. Let me know in the comments. That'll be part 2 of this series. I'll link it right up here somewhere once that one is out. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. As always, stay sharp, play smart, and take care.